The girl noticed something strange while taking pictures. The drop tower sign clearly said high dive, but in her photo, some of the lights had gone out, turning it into high dive. Wendy looked up instinctively. The lights above were still on. Before she could figure it out, her boyfriend and classmates rushed over. They thought the drop tower wasn't exciting enough, so they wanted to try the roller coaster. Soon, they reached the entrance, but the strange-looking gate made Wendy feel even more uneasy. Her boyfriend noticed her fear and encouraged her to be brave. With his support, Wendy finally agreed, but the moment she stepped inside, she noticed a loose bolt on the track above. That terrible feeling came rushing back. She felt like something bad was about to happen. Before long, the coaster pulled into the station. The staff began checking tickets. After the last group got off, everyone picked their seats and climbed in. Wendy and Kevin sat in the very last row. The safety restraints came down. The staff checked if everything was secure, but no one noticed. The hydraulic line above them was leaking oil. As the ride was about to start, Wendy took out her camera for a picture, but a staff member immediately stopped her. After seeing the warning sign, Kevin put the camera in his pocket, but the guy in the hat secretly hit his camera against his chest, and that small move would set up everything that happened next. Right before launch, Kevin accidentally touched a piece of gum left by the last rider. Disgusted, he tossed it away. As the staff pressed the button, the coaster slowly began to move. Everyone screamed with excitement, but none of them knew a disaster was already closing in. Soon, the coaster reached the highest point, then it dropped at full speed. The weightless rush sent everyone's adrenaline soaring, but Wendy was the only one who felt something was wrong. The coaster entered its first loop. The guy in the hat pulled out his camera and tried to sneak a photo, but the girl in front of him knocked it away, and in that instant, the gears of fate began to turn at such high speed. One of the wheels was ripped loose. As the coaster hit a steep drop, the entire ride suddenly snapped in half. The passengers in the first 3 rows were thrown out instantly, but it turned out everything Wendy saw was only a vision. What scared her even more was that the staff member said the exact same thing as before. Then Kevin's hand touched the gum again. Wendy realized what she saw was not a dream. Just as the staff was about to start the ride, Wendy completely lost control.
Let me out!
Wendy, it's alright.
No, it's gonna crash, it's gonna crash!
Wendy?
The hydraulics will rupture the tracks, will let him sleep!
What's going on?
Let me off!
Chick's on something. Hey, let him out.
The moment the restraint opened, Wendy jumped out of her seat. She told the supervisor everything she had just seen, but Lewis suddenly started yelling at her. Kevin stepped in to argue with him. The two quickly got into a fight. Their classmates rushed over to stop them. To shut down the chaos, the supervisor ordered them all out. Wendy's boyfriend wanted to get off and check on her, but the people behind him kept yelling for the ride to start. The staff ignored him and pressed the launch button. As Wendy was being led away, she suddenly realized her boyfriend was still on the coaster. She rushed back to stop it, but it was already too late. The supervisor and his staff dragged Wendy and Kevin out of the park, and right then, the roller coaster really became a death ride. A few weeks passed. Even though the disaster was over, Wendy still couldn't escape its shadow. Just as she was about to leave, Kevin came to find her. He had done a lot of research and found a plane crash from 6 years earlier. Back then, a boy had a vision that the plane was going to explode. What he did was exactly what Wendy had done. Not long after takeoff, the plane really exploded, and the survivors all died later in bizarre accidents. At first, Wendy didn't believe Kevin, but when she looked at the photos from that day, she noticed something strange. The photo of her boyfriend looked like a warning. A strong sense of dread rushed over her. Just then, the lights nearby began to flicker. Wendy opened another photo. When she had photographed 2 classmates, a bright beam of light had landed across their faces. The harsh reflection looked like fire burning their skin. Wendy seemed to understand. She grabbed her phone and called the girl in the photo, but by then, it was already too late. The 2 girls were about to get tanned, but the salon owner suddenly got a phone call. To keep the door from blowing shut, she placed a tube of toothpaste against it, but just after the girls lay down, a strange breeze blew through. The toothpaste couldn't hold the door and burst open instantly. While the girls were still relaxing, disaster began to unfold. Because the tanning beds were too hot, water began forming on a drink cup. The drops slid across the table and dripped onto the electrical box below. The machines grew hotter and hotter. By the time the girls realized something was wrong, it was already too late.
I fucked up, I said it too hot in here.
Their deaths were ruled an accident. At the funeral, Wendy and Kevin met again. This time, Wendy finally believed him. Kevin showed her photos from the plane crash 6 years ago. The 180 on the road sign matched the number of people who died on the flight. Then Wendy took out the photos from the amusement park. Her boyfriend's death and the two girls' deaths had both been hinted at in the pictures. If the death order followed the photo order, then the next person to die would be Frankie, the guy in the hat. But just as they were about to sit down and talk, a garbage truck suddenly rolled toward them. Wendy was badly startled, and at that moment, danger came again.
Get out! Get out! What? Behind us! There's no one in that truck!
Watching you.
Shit! Hey! Pull up, man! Come on, pull up!
Look at me.
Right now! Get out!
Watch out, watch out! Come on.
Kevin suddenly noticed the necklace on the ground. It was the same one Frankie had been wearing. The accident was soon ruled as another freak accident. But Wendy and Kevin knew the truth. This was not an accident. Death was hunting them. Using the photo order, they quickly figured out the next person would be Lewis. In the photo, Lewis was playing a weight drop game, and the weight was falling right above his head. Kevin noticed a nearby sign that said Sultan, and Sultan was also the name of Lewis's team. They immediately took the photo and went to warn him, but Lewis was a complete atheist. No matter how hard Kevin tried, he refused to believe them. Then Wendy noticed the crossed blades nearby looked just like the ones in the photo. That terrible feeling returned. At that same moment, Lewis walked directly beneath the blades. He pulled hard on the machine, shouting that even if death came for him, it couldn't do anything. But right then, just like the photo predicted,
What I tell you, Kevin, huh? Fuck that. I just win. That's all I know how to do, Kevin. Baby, I just win.
Lewis's head was crushed by the weight. Wendy and Kevin now knew the next victims would be Ian McKinley and his girlfriend Erin. But when they arrived, Ian was saying the same thing Lewis had said. Clearly, he didn't believe any of it. Even though Kevin tried to warn him, Ian kept working like nothing was wrong. And at that moment, the gears of fate began turning again. Another disaster was coming. A breeze suddenly blew through. Wendy looked at the photo again. It was as if she finally realized something.
Those...
Although Wendy managed to save Ian, Erin still failed to escape death. Now they didn't know whether interfering had actually worked. If it hadn't, Kevin would be next. And after Kevin, it would be Wendy. But because Wendy had been stopped while taking the photo that day, they no longer knew who was next in line. That night, Wendy checked the photos again and suddenly noticed someone sitting in front of her seat. From the shape of the bracelet, she recognized the person. It was her younger sister, Julie. Remembering that Julie was going to the town festival, Wendy immediately called Kevin. Luckily, Kevin was working security at the fairgrounds. Realizing Julie might be next, Kevin told Wendy to check the photos for clues. But Wendy's photo showed nothing useful. Kevin's face, however, seemed to be hit by a flash of bright light. With no time to think, Wendy rushed to the festival. Meanwhile, Kevin found Julie, but Julie was acting like a rebellious teenager. She shook Kevin off and ran away. At the same time, the fireworks show began. Two bratty kids lit a firecracker and threw it under a white horse. The explosion scared the horse. It ripped the wooden stake from the ground and bolted. Wendy finally spotted her sister when she saw Julie make the same hand gesture from the photo. Wendy instantly knew something was wrong.
Julie, look out!
Luckily, Kevin arrived in time and saved Julie, but Wendy knew this wasn't over. She quickly asked Julie, who had been sitting next to her on the roller coaster that day, but before Julie could answer, her friend beside her was killed on the spot. Seeing this, Wendy realized the next person was Kevin. Luckily, Wendy got there in time and saved him too, but then she saw Ian McKinley.
We have to get out of here now. What's the deal?
Ian McKinley, he causes my death. In my picture, I was wearing the McKinley Grand Night shirt. He's the clue.
There's a first aid tent. This should be security.
It turned out Ian never believed Wendy. He blamed her for Aaron's death, and this time he had come to kill Wendy to avenge his girlfriend.
Michael, it's your dad. Just like you crossed there. What? What? You have a vision? Was I in it? Is that a picture? Just tell me how to start it off! Let's get this over with!
You'll save me if you just stay away. Then it'll all be over.
What do I care? It skipped me. For me, it is over. I'm not dying. I'm not dying! You see? I'm not gonna die! It's you, Wendy! You're dead!
After Ian died, Wendy finally escaped death's pursuit.